Whatever you say. All right. Well, we came all the way from across country to be here with you, some of us further than others. We are going to be reading some troublemaking poems today for you fine folks. We have t-shirts for everybody here that say New Orleans Poetry Festival 2023. And it's got the readers listed on that and a little Here Comes Trouble on the front. We're going to be using this t-shirt as our reading order. So we're going to start tonight with Stefene Russell. Now I'm going to introduce her, and she's going to come up and read some trouble for you. So Stefene Russell is a recent New Orleans transplant by way of St. Louis. We're sad that she left my fair city of St. Louis, but New Orleans is certainly lucky to have her. She was a 2018 Laumeier Sculpture Park Poet in Residence and is the author of 47 incantatory essays, the Possum Codex, and Inferna. Please welcome Stefene Russell.
And big thanks to Travis who put all of this together, and Katie Baum, who's not here, but she encouraged us to, she encouraged Travis to. Thanks to Kerry James and Jimmy for coming up, and lovely, thanks for being here. So I have a long, skinny poem bookended by two very square prose poems, so I will just let it rip. Hopefully these will trouble someone up. And I would think that we are probably, at best, crystal sets after Jack Spicer. Not a generator, but a collector of electrons, a cathode ray tube, an ear trumpet, maybe an oscillator or porcelain insulator. On days you feel fancy, a ghost box. Jack Spicer said Martians sent him poems, so also a manta ray, swimming through the hoops of Aquaman's marine telepathy. What's the surmise here? Thoughts moving through water cast a shadow. Other thoughts fall through the violet ether, glint by glint. Those thoughts don't cast shadows. A poet is a radio with just a crystal set at best, an alligator clip, a cat's whisker detector, some germanium for the diode, shiny as foil, or some galena, shiny too, cubic in structure, full of lead, quartz, if you like things stable. The waves never not there. Put the wire to the crystal, a booming cascade of voices, a roll of gold fabric unspooling for centuries. What's sharp enough to cut off a sample square? No scissors you own. Put the wire to the diode, but not for long. Voices corrode, too much noise. The woolly voices crackling on the danger scanner. Too many voices that say, I'm Bob, or get out of here, or help, or a fragment of a song lyric from before the war during a radio sweep. Martians, or rowdy voices, or fans of the purple space friend. Don't trust an angel that says its name is Doug. Don't trust an angel with a last name. Pick up this word or that word, a whole sentence, and write it on your arm. The vocabulary may glow silver, it may be cubic in structure, it may be full of lead. Wear industrial gloves to handle it, but it defeats the purpose. You'll lose some eyesight, you'll burn your eardrums. Vibrating crystal, sending purple and dull silver voices pulsing through a wire, through headphones, no other way to hear it, right into your head. The voices are a substance, a condensation, an inversion, blue smoke curling over magma. They rush. They speak in a cadence forced upon them by the lattice-like structure of what some call the beyond. They must be quickly in a rhythm forced upon them. Fast talkers, forced to speak Esperanto, bricolaging the AM dial, baseball, weather, mortgages, power riffs, morning posts, the emergency broadcast service, breaking straight from the fissures of the crystal. What a relief, not your fault. Can't blame the circuit. Vocabulary or ethereomania. Try to keep up, try not to get lost, and yet you will get lost. Thank you. I'm not nervous. Okay, this is a long skinny poem, and then I'll close out with another square poem. And then who's next? Who's got, well, Travis is doing intros. Oh, more people. Hello, hello. called it a night house, and there's a little epigraph from Peter Gizzi from a winding sheet for summer. All the stars are here that belong to whatever was speaking. I built my life out of what was left of me. Let's skip most of this boring story. Just say it starts the day I was too old, but I wasn't old. Nurse, car, park, basement, river, want, partner, host, can't. He bought her soup in a hotel room on his birthday, wished me dead in a letter, but I was a good partner, he said. Trail of bent nails and bloody gauze and whatever, he said. Ring from a kiosk in the mall, next to the rhinestone hats and the sugar gliders, spit and a promise and a shine, throwing it all in the river. Oozing from a crack in the drywall, van to black, chowing down last bits of light thrown by broken glass stars. A voice said, "Put that in your pipe and smoke it." I had no pipe. I walked to 7-Eleven at 11 p.m., humid summer night, revving crickets, dark park, rushes of trees and bushes, shapes and shapes, clean white square of home base, glowing from the diamond, and panes of light, neighbors blind in the midst of rituals, packing lunches, skipping channels, boozing, fighting, clicking coupons to print. At the counter, shy to just buy a pipe, as if I aspired to be Mary Bonnie or Lady Popeye, no makeup, track shorts and black stubble on bruised shins, a cola, a lighter, a cone, jumble of stuff to cover up my plan to smoke the tar right out of the cosmos, smoke it right down to the stars. W-A-W, the letter W, Vav with a dot on top. O Hook, O Good Shepherd's Crook, O Kansas, O Missouri, Arkansas and Oklahoma, hopscotch the Sephiroth, throw down a broken dog's tooth in lieu of hobby top. The gymnast chalks her palms, her calloused soul stained blue, jump roping with rainbows in the foggy church nursery. And my face is like this badly made thing dropped on a kitchen floor. Just a lady signing herself into fairy book to be little my orphan Annie or Harriet the Spy. Rude words, half-baked pancakes, your sons notice a lot. On the back porch at dawn, you realize squirrels make a definite noise when they run on power lines, and the chirp of a robin is cheery in the morning, but creepy after dusk. A dream of two well-known witches, we played a board game without a point. All you did was view the world through your choice of 3 filters, red, yellow, or blue, and you chose blue. Orbison lenses, eyes shaded, spying Orions, red raw meat in your clean sink, the molding of drywall gone damp wall, the demons meet cute, anoint the broom, pulp of cardoon, blink sun of solar minimum. Go with your old math, white liver widow, to the witch midden, fever mistress, a little altar in my spleen, warmed with white hot coals. A forever stamp, the screen of a spy watch, to see the one I love in profile. Roman coin, curves of chin and nose and curls. Trap it in amber, do another shot at the burled oak bar. Dream of skiing, snow-hearted snow bunny, straight edge glitter zha and perfect flight off the mountain's edge, tipped skis in an X. I fly racing, alpine air, angel, and nanny goat both, in my red velvet coat trimmed with marabou and eyelash lace. Little farce, oh none of that's true. Am I too humble and too smart for you, for you? How are we doing on time? I can stop. I have one word. So I have to give you some funny background on this one. So I read on Google Books like this 300-page, it was a 1912 report from the Illinois Bureau of Labor. It was actually quite interesting if you skip the tables, because they would go out and talk to working people at the turn of the century. So this is kind of based on that. I don't know, I'm a nerd, I like boring things like that. Hopefully this is not as boring as that would be to most people. And it's from this little book, 47 Incantatory Essays. So they all have numbers rather than titles, so this is 21. Blessed are the pie bakers of Chicago, the women who begin work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and continue until about 2 o'clock the next morning. The women with one good coat and 2 pairs of passable shoes and 2 bad eyes, who make the crust of the pie and put it in the pan, who, like a morning paper compositor, sleep in the daytime. Blessed are the girls who pack crackers and ginger snaps. Blessed are the girls who pack cans of baking soda in well-lit factories. Blessed are the gummers and folders of envelopes, the inspectors of horseshoe nails, the scrap paper sorters singing Bria, Bria, La Stellina. Blessed are the morning paper compositors drawing down the Roman shades. Blessed are the women and girls of the rattenworks bottoming chairs. Blessed are the girls who pack tobacco, the stenographers and clerks, the sewers of muslin underwear. Blessed are the stitchers of patches and regalia, attachers of military fringe, braiders of silver cord. Blessed are the painters of silk banners, the painters of all-seeing eyes on Oddfellows flags. Blessed are the makers of cuffs and ties, the affixers of buttons. Blessed are the telephone operators, the day force, the extra force, the night force, the relief force. Blessed are the head milliners and the telegraph operators, the canners of tapioca, the insulators of silk-wrapped wires. Blessed are the box makers, the sorters and the trimmers. Blessed are the turners, the vampers, the islanders. Blessed are the women of Blue Island, the women of Throop, the women of Ashland, Galt, and Noble. Blessed are the girls of North Division and the girls of South Division. Blessed are the finishers. Blessed are the closers. Blessed are the stayers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, and there was definitely some trouble in there. Our next poet hails from Tallahassee, by way of, but here he is today with us, James Kimbrell. His poems have appeared in anthologies including Best American Poetry and the Pushcart Prize Anthology. The recipient of a Ruth Lilly Fellowship, a Guggenheim Fellowship, and 2 fellowships from the National Endowment of the Arts, his most recent collection is Smoked. He directs the creative writing program at Florida State University, and today he's going to cause some trouble with us.
All right. Thank you so much, Travis, and thank y'all all for coming out and braving the elements today. I'm going to attempt something I've never done before, which is to read a poem off my phone. These are new poems. I wanted to read something, hoping that if it was fresh for me, it would be fresh for you as well. And this first poem is the title poem of my new book called The Law of Truly Large Numbers. So a little background on that. A fact that's astonishing to me. I was born in 1967, and since that time, the population of the planet has doubled, right? So there's twice as many people now. To the extent that, for instance, there's so many people on the planet now that if you were to go to New York City on your birthday, New York City can be completely populated twice by people on the planet who also share your birthday. Right? There's that many people. The second idea that I want to introduce you to is the law of truly large numbers, which states that given a large enough set, anything is possible to happen over a period of time. More and more people will win the lottery. Things like that, right? And so it got me to wondering, like, do we, for instance, call on God more when our luck is bad, you know? Luck down, God up. And is the reverse true? Good luck? No, I don't really need God that much. How does this work out? So anyway, I managed to try to turn all these facts into a love poem. And so I'll read that for you. The law of truly large numbers. Earth is so heavy with people, my love. We've doubled our numbers since my arrival. You can still fit 20 humans into a Volkswagen Beetle. But I worry, will there be enough seat belts for our 4 children? What if civilization bottoms out backing down our driveway? Or you can populate 2 New York cities with people that share your birthday. Isn't that and that and that a coincidence? A miracle might strike at any moment. Everything rare is well done. Everyone compares their lottery winnings. So long, religion. Down the road, rabbit's foot. But even in a world of colossal, humongous, truly superb, blimp-sized numbers, my love, we're exactly 2 people. And when we sleep, despite what my snoring might suggest, I am only one man. And of that night I proposed with Chablis and pawn shop diamond beneath the walnut tree, and you said yes, I'll say this. Quantity only betters the structure of affection, the architecture of surprise. As when you step from the shower and search for your towel, even though I've hidden it for the millionth time, so that I might behold you searching for your towel, until you finally ask, hey, have you seen my towel? At which point I jump to the rescue with dry, fluffy, wondrous towels worthy of Nefertiti. And the whole morning smells like sweet pea and violet body wash, lavender and citrus anti-frizz conditioner. And this is only the first hour of the day. I'm one timeline away from figuring out when the odds kicked in, how I found you. It's so crowded, my love, and we've all been mistaken for someone else with the same first name and a 1-digit difference in our social security numbers. If only we could hold a truly large mirror up to Earth, we could at least gain the illusion of spaciousness. This would also solve the problem of surveillance. Everyone making love outside, looking up at themselves, making love in the sky. Thank you. And then I'm gonna move on to this little poem. I'm from Mississippi originally. I was, apparently, according to my parents, I was conceived here in New Orleans, lived here a little while when I was a kid, then we moved to Jackson, and pretty much all over Mississippi. I've been living in Florida now for 20 years, but somewhere in between all that, I was going to graduate school in Virginia and lived in Charlottesville, and got a job working at a gourmet deli. So it was sort of lowbrow, the prices were high, and the food was pretty expensive. And Charlottesville, I didn't realize this when I moved there, but it was kind of a magnet for celebrities. And so you'd see Barbara Streisand, Sylvester Stallone. And so one day I'm at work, and in comes, not Jessica Tandy, but Jessica Lange and Mikhail Baryshnikov. And I'm like, I can't believe this is Mikhail Baryshnikov, you know? I'm making him a sandwich. So I wrote a poem called Making a Sandwich for Mikhail Baryshnikov. Excuse me, Making a Turkey Sandwich for Mikhail Baryshnikov. And it has an epitaph from Baryshnikov's memoir called Baryshnikov Work. It says, it doesn't matter how high you lift your leg. The technique is about transparency, simplicity, and making an earnest attempt. And I had no idea that Baryshnikov had really been held back as a ballet dancer in Russia because he didn't meet the height requirement for a male lead ballet in Russia. Because he finally appeared during my shift, and I could see him beyond my prep window and the cold display and the cash register, sitting at the foretop with Jessica Lange and their daughter, Alexandra, I made an earnest attempt to slice the sunflower wheat bread with disinterested grace, to keep the crust unbroken before layering the smoked meat with lettuce, mayo, avocado, and 3 strips of applewood bacon, then cutting the whole into halves, perfect toothpicked gourmet doppelgangers of abundance and, one hoped, restraint. Fingers hooked in my apron collar, I watched as this table of 3, who represented a ridiculously large share of Earth's talent and beauty, were served their sandwiches, or as I like to think of them, their edible sculptures. I did not walk out to the forbidden, gleaming customer area to introduce myself, a fan, an aspiring poet, a dishwasher and slicer of serious bread. I was not the Baryshnikov of poetry. I was not even the Baryshnikov of sandwiches. And a family deserves to eat in peace. And I deserve to watch them. Or I didn't, but I watched anyway, though not ostentatiously. But it wasn't easy to slice a fresh round of focaccia when I wanted to set forth in my hairnet and scream, Mikhail, I'm so happy you got free of nasty old Russia where a 5'5" male could never dance the league. In my salty halo and my cloud of bread steam, I recall childhood visions of an airborne jetée over pool halls and pine tops, the water tower, a train-set figurine, and the air beneath me. Of course, like most boys in Mississippi, I was herded decidedly away from ballet toward football, hunting. I wonder, how many poets or would-be dancers name one good poem that doesn't long for escape? After they finished, napkins on plates, Baryshnikov's crumbs were everyday crumbs. Nor was the silverware infected with greatness. Such are the mysteries of genius and mastication. The oven bell rang, as did the order bell and the dish bell, all the bells that said the meal is ready, and the cake. Still, with damp cloth and bucket, I stepped out and took my time clearing their table. Now for the last and most troubling portion of my reading. I hope I have to supply some trouble. My wife is an attorney, and so I get a lot of interesting stories when she comes home and needs to unburden herself from the day's pressure. She had one story. There was a little boy had been kind of abandoned by his family. I think his mother was strung out or something. And so she told me that he'd been sort of just hanging around his apartment all day by himself. And I was like, well, how did he eat? And she's like, well, that's a good question. He ate frozen waffles every day. I was like, for how long? And she was like, weeks. I was like, oh man, that image really stuck with me. So I wrote a poem to it. There's some allusions to places in South Louisiana here where I would go and stay with relatives in the summer sometimes. There's Nothing Wrong With You is the name of the poem. Dear 12-year-old boy who eats frozen waffles 3 times a day while your mother makes a run for gas station chicken with every meth-shooting hardglad in Pascagoula. Yea, though I sit here choking down a po' boy with the crickets in my wisdom, triumphant and twice divorced, I wish I could write a happier poem for you. If the water gets turned off, you can still drink from the bug-peppered oasis of your neighbor's plastic swimming pool. I wish it would stop raining long enough for me to throw a football with such a perfect spiral that my 12-year-old self could catch it. I found Classics of Western Thought, Volume 1, and complete tablature, Paul Simon's Greatest Hits, and the dumpster behind my grandfather's house. That June, I took up residence in Plato's Cave, and all the above-ground graves and hostile Boudreaux and Héberts of Chack Bay, Louisiana, became a sweltering yet tolerable allegory. I hope you never shoot up half the day just to shoot up half the day. I hope you never compare the frozen waffles of youth to the frozen waffles of prison. I sawed off a 2x4, then drew 6 vertical strings with a black magic marker, 15 short lines crosswise for frets, and hummed the melody to me and Julio strumming that rotten, rain-warped board. It's not always right to blame your mother. There must be 50 ways to leave a mess, 50 ways to kick a skanky habit over and over, 50 ways to cook waffles when you're 12, when the day outlasts the soap operas and it's impossibly hot in the parking lot of the apartment complex where no other kids seem to live, when the nights are street lights, mean and skinny, and the morning belongs to no one except the quiet and time and hunger for which you are entirely suited. Ever read the book of There's Nothing Wrong With You? Me neither. Nonetheless, they punched my free lunch card. Nor is it right to hate God or anyone else busy sleeping in the blue casket of summer, bold with constellations. Thank you.
I told you we'd get around to some trouble there. That was some definite trouble. Now, we're going to keep the trouble train rolling here with Kerry James Evans, coming by way of Georgia. By way of. He is the author of Bangalore. He lives in Milledgeville, Georgia, where he teaches in the MFA program at Georgia College and State University, and serves as poetry editor for Arts and Letters. Please welcome Kerry James Evans.
Such a great honor to read and to be a part of this. Jimmy directed my dissertation, and Travis has been my friend for forever. I wouldn't be anywhere without either of them. And I've got a student here in Parker who's at LSU now. St. Louis family in the back. And in honor of all the St. Louis contingency, I'm going to read poems that I wrote in St. Louis for the time that I was there. This first one's called, I wrote on Travis's porch. It's called Meditation on the Fool After Moving to St. Louis. And it's the tarot card of the fool, right? Numeral 0. The fool dangles over a cliff, bindle slung over right shoulder, rows of Sharon growing from left, as if it were always planted in the palm. White-capped breakers loom in the background. A dog leans back on hind legs and barks, as if to warn the fool, as if to say, "What are you doing? Look around you." But the real fool is aware of the danger, knows that we are always at the edge, that to live at all requires a leap of some kind, that this is life. Eyes closed and cast upward, sun illuminating every word, every decision, right or wrong. The fool is suspended like the number assigned to it. The 0, an egg, a circle disinterested in quantity or measure. Turned on its side, it is a round table where any number might sit. It is a frisbee in my hand, or the cup holder where I just placed my bottle of water. I came here to be what I have always been, what I saw from the cab of my truck as I crossed the Mississippi, arch reflecting the morning light. This one's called Fall. It's about Missouri's weather. Temperatures dropped to -10 degrees, then stuck for 2 weeks. Root-ridden clay pipes pumping sewage downriver froze. And it wasn't long before the backup, the main breaks and the overflow, the hydrants with their ribs split open. The salt-covered cars, tire-deep in ice, might have said, "Get me out of here." But who would have heard in the silence of that cold? Then, in particular Missouri fashion, winter turned to spring for the weekend, and skeptics emerged from gingerbread homes to walk their dogs on sidewalks, wet with thaw. Songbirds plucked worms from dormant grass, while house cats lurked in picture windows awash with southern light. Of course, January warm spells never last. But it was enough for the city to open its lungs, for the rattle of the furnace to subside, replaced by the scattering of dream-drunk mice escaping through ductwork. And yes, I know it's asking a lot to believe in the logic of fractals or to trust in the trajectory of our elliptical orbit. But why not start with a sidestep of those doves on the wire? Or that blue Ford F-150 chucking gravel outside the bowling alley? The ironworker who guttered his way through a watered-down pitcher of Coors only to bowl a 98. Enough to save face for the boys, sure. But what about the ride home? What about the next day? And the day after that? When the hydraulic line seizes and the crane can't lift those colossal chains. And it's back to the house with no pay until the union makes a better deal. And what? Do you really think this is the end? That things will turn around? Look, you don't need me to tell me your business, so I won't. But don't go thinking warm spells in January are a license to believe in nonsense. An angry little boy. A little angry sometimes, you know? Oh, this one's got AC/DC in it. And I'm wearing an AC. I'm just going to wear this one. I'll read one more. Is that okay? Got time for it? This one's in the voice of God. This is so great. I'm in New Orleans reading poems of my best people in the world. The heavens opened and God said, all endings, even mine, will be yours. Take the Chevrolet Camaro, a popular car in Florida. Not only will Florida cease to exist, but sold every yellow Camaro double parked in a roped-off field outside the nearest fall festival with its haunted corn maze and pumpkin patch. Its local AC/DC cover band reunited for one last tour. Fear not, my child. Those songs live on. They carry like bubbles drawn from a soapy wand. You are like a branch that has forgotten the trunk, a bird in a lightning storm, waves lingering at the shore. I am sand. I am the wave, the wind, the red flag whipping a blue sky. Would you believe me if I said you and I are both blue sky? Would you try? Do you ever wonder what frustrates me? Never-ending guitar solos. Legalese and pawnbrokers. Legalese and skinny pawnbrokers. Do you hear the guitar solo? What about the neighbor's kids burning donuts in deserted quarries? Their bare-chested howls are a hymn all their own. Once, the universe was a series of wheels within wheels. Now, it is a shattered urn. In the beginning, it was good. In the beginning. Thank you.
Well, that was delightful and full of trouble. Anything that includes a guitar solo from an AC/DC cover band reuniting, one last tour, that's trouble. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I am Travis Mossotti. I am so blessed that a couple of poets decided to join me on this crazy adventure, and the family came down from St. Louis to party and mix it up and get into trouble, and that everybody else decided to show up here and make some trouble with us. So I have a couple of collections of poems, 3 downstairs, and they're all for sale, about the dead field study of Narcissus Americana. I have 2 more forthcoming, one in the UK in 2023 called The Race Car Jesus. Talk about trouble. And the second one is Apocryphal Genesis, which will be out in spring of 24 with Sarabande Books, who's giving a reading right across the hall. I'm going to grab my poems, and we're going to get off to the races. Now, the first poem I'm going to do, I don't need them right there. It's from Narcissus Americana, and it's the troublesome poem about how this whole country was founded and got into a whole bunch of trouble that we still see today. It's called Manifest Destiny. Wherever I am the revelation, and I don't give a damn about parole violation. My skin's filled with rivets and ferritic steel. My heart's full of spit, anger, and zeal. Much more than a man of the lowest class who enjoys when he can this terror, that menace. Just as soon as I enter, wherever I am, I'm the baddest motherfucker, 'cause I don't give a damn. All right, that's a fun little poem, but not all trouble is that big. Sometimes trouble shows up at your doorstep, and it's a great Pyrenees trying to get into the chicken coop. That's what this poem is about, trouble coming into your house. It's called Universal, and this is for my wife Regina, who features in it, and it is her birthday today. And I'm so blessed that she shared her birthday with this poetry reading. And to honor that, we're gonna read some Universal. Woke up to the neighbor's Great Pyrenees pup, bothering the run, flock losing their minds in feathers and trumpeting terrified alarms. And when I yelled at the young dog from the back door stoop, I did so in my underwear. And the yearling galloped over like a white horse headed back to the stable. I took him home. Made coffee while the kids stirred. Watered tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, potatoes, asparagus, etc. Gave the chickens a frozen zucchini to peck at. Cleaned out their water and said, "They're there. That big old dog scare you? They're there," I said. Checked for eggs. Fixed the kids' breakfast, and somewhere in there decided to open this computer and tell you about it. Fingers knocking against a digital space that belongs to no one. Acorns landing in irregular intervals on the roof. I have a habit of putting my needs aside. I have a habit of breaking down eventually. I have a problem with alcohol I seem to have solved for the moment. I try to be a good citizen, to express patience with others, to shine lights on daily happenings of negligible import, to undress the cosmos consensually. I wish I didn't hear traffic in the distance. I wish Regina and I could afford the farm our minds have conjured. I say Regina in a poem, and she always says I should say my wife to make it more universal. She's right, I know she is, but I say her name anyway. Half expecting it to ask me to shut off the lights and come back to bed. It doesn't. The trash truck comes and goes, and when I walk down to the curb to fetch the cans, I notice a red patch of wild strawberries growing near the street. I look closer. I see them turning toward the sun. All right, I'm gonna do this last poem, something new. That poem, Universal, by the way, is gonna be in Pocketful Genesis that's coming out in 24, so get yourself a copy there whenever it'll be available. This one is new, and I've been working on with these two fine young cannibals up front. Kerry James went down to visit him, and he took us out for a night at this place called the Jelly Elephant. Now, the Jelly Elephant is a collective of musicians in rural Georgia, and they show up on a Saturday night. Everybody's got their instruments, and they just take turns playing. Everybody takes a turn. Somebody gets up, brings a guitar. They sing 3 songs, and everybody's jamming along with them, and they just throw in solos intermittently. It's the coolest thing. This poem is about my experience at the Jelly Elephant as a 40-year-old something, 40-plus-year-old something. When the music stops, the party is supposed to be over. But then you blast the radio on the ride to the after party, and everyone starts moving again inside a guitar. You could live inside a guitar and travel the world waiting to come alive. At the Jelly Elephant in Gordon, Georgia, you could come alive. Town's got a Dollar General and a rail line ladder stitched across its face. You could get high all night inside a guitar, inside a brick building called the Jelly Elephant, and nobody would see you hiding there. I remember tar bubbles on the street that I used to poke with a stick until another one popped up. I remember sharpening my nails against earthwood strings, and now I wonder why my life has come to be as defined and misshapen as a book of poems left out in the rain. Life like a stale, half-eaten donut used as a doorstop. 3 bites of a life left really doesn't work for much else. Propping the door of the Jelly Elephant open for the next one to pass through, night holding the door open for sunrise, all the bad choices leading back to Rome, on a road cutting through a rural Georgia that glistens as you skitter past the glittering all-night blaze of the kaolin mine, gliding into town upon the wet, slick 2-lane artery. Your heart wants to stop, but it doesn't. It wants to crawl into the corner of a harmonica, or a wavering vibrato, or the hollow guts of the guitar asleep in a guitar case in a closet where nobody could see it. It doesn't want the 3-minute solo at the Jelly Elephant, or a fucking tambourine flying in out of nowhere. I remember crossing a creek on a slippery log. I remember falling backwards into a deep pool and bursting forth with an oil sheen. I must have been 10. Now, that was many decades ago, and you'd think I'd gotten past it, but the oil seeped in. Before I could get it off, it became part of me. The way you hear a bad song once and it seeps in before you can wash it off. The way love stains too. Some girl or boy who eviscerates you. How the pain plays on repeat until you put your boot through the speaker. Then you're in your 40s and all you want to do is sleep. But it's Saturday at the Jelly Elephant and someone starts playing that song again and it kills you. Everyone's older than they should be in picking strings. A woman slips a knife between your ribs with her voice. The wingbeat of a single crow crumbles the last bits of mortar between the bricks of the building, and the rain lets itself right in. You jump on the back of a dream. You enter through any door that skips you back home. You've had so many homes, so many doors to choose from. Thank you. Yes, all right. Thank you all for coming out and joining our fun here, our trouble. If you would like, I would like to offer you a t-shirt to commemorate this occasion. So come up. If I got your size, you're good to go. And otherwise, if you want to come down and visit us, we'll be at the table downstairs. And that's it. Have a great